The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
This week on BCIT Magazine, Premier Christy Clark unveils the Liberal Party's campaign platform.
A new Westminster program aims to help renters.
And environmental protesters raise issue with Liberal Party supporters.
Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Johnnie Smart.
And I'm Lito, Howse. The BC Liberals outlined their party campaign plan this week, which focused primarily on creating jobs and building a strong tech sector. But as my co-anchor Johnnie Smart reveals, millennials just aren't convinced.
We all want a bright future for our province.
Premier Christy Clark unveiled her election platform that she says will keep money in the pockets of middle-class families and will maintain economic growth.
This election is about which party has a plan to do three things: create jobs, control government spending, and cut taxes for the middle class.
But students at one of BC's top technology schools are skeptical.
She's terrible for this province. It's all the promises that she's made in the past, and they've just all been broken. I didn't trust her from the get-go.
As far as creating new jobs, no, I don't think she's doing things that she can't, the best things she can to be helping new students.
Along with her plans to build the tech industry, Clark plans to support ride-sharing programs, help the middle class buy homes, and invest $2.2 billion in transit.
And in the next 4 years, we need to continue building so that BC can compete or beat any country in the world as a place to live, work, and raise a family.
Johnnie Smart in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
So Johnnie, with the election coming up, Christy Clark and the Liberals are heading their campaign with a promise of creating jobs.
Right.
Yes, so how does Clark's policy compare to John Horgan's and the NDP?
While Clark is focused primarily on creating a strong tech industry in Vancouver, Horgan is more focused on climate change solutions, so investing in green energy efficiencies and clean technology. So according to this plan, investing in climate leadership will create 900,000 jobs by 2050.
Another huge topic in Vancouver is affordability. What are the tactics of the Liberals versus the NDP?
Right, always a huge topic here in Vancouver. Well, the Liberals have already invested $1 billion this year into affordable housing programs, and of course have also brought in a tax break for first-time homebuyers. Horgan has touted rent purpose housing on land that the province owns, so especially in suburban areas like Coquitlam and Surrey. So yes, housing will absolutely be at the forefront of this election.
All right, thank you. In Metro Vancouver's competitive home rental market, not being able to pay your rent can have serious consequences. A new initiative in New West is aiming to help people financially and keep them in their homes. Nicole Aud reports.
Renters in New Westminster are getting some financial help through the creation of a rent bank. If someone faces a hard financial crunch, the program will provide assistance that makes it possible to pay that month's rent. Dawn Embry of the Lower Mainland Purpose Society is working to get the program up and running. She says the rent bank gives people assistance that doesn't put them in further debt.
Have people, have the loan and give them lots of time to repay it and not, hit them with a whole bunch of fees. So just making it as easy for them as it can. I mean, we're not in the business of, making interest off of people's loans.
Get a $200 cash advance for just $20 from Cash Money.
Before the rent bank, many people had to turn to payday loan companies to make it through. While these businesses provide fast cash, they charge huge fees. On a 14-day loan for $700, you would pay $119 in interest. Rent banks typically don't charge interest, Repayment averages about $20 a month over 2 years. With nearly half of New West residents living in rental accommodation, the threat of eviction can hang over them.
They're pretty desperate. You know, they go to work, they've been able to pay their bills, but something comes up that throws their lives into a tailspin, and they just need help to bridge that gap.
Embry says keeping people in their homes is important for the community.
Eviction is a hugely stressful thing to have to deal with, and especially if you've got a family, and again that snowball effect of how that impacts you. So you know, you've got kids, and if they're in school and then suddenly got no place to live.
Embry expects the rent bank to open around the end of April. Nicole Aud in New Westminster for BCIT Magazine.
Protesters hoping to end grizzly hunting found common ground with those who don't want to see the Site C dam built. My co-anchor Lito Howse brings the story of their struggle.
Environmentalists gathered this week in protest outside the Vancouver Leaders' Dinner on Monday. Site C dam protesters say the white elephant symbolizes the dam being an unwanted gift to the province. Meanwhile, a group of young protesters handed out pamphlets opposing the grizzly bear trophy hunt.
You know, we do a combination of fieldwork and advocacy. We try to bring an issue that is, you know, sometimes takes place in the backcountry in BC, you know, into people's living rooms. Like I said, we monitor, document, expose these hunts, and yeah, hopefully try to get it banned.
While grizzly bear hunt protesters say there may be hope, the Site C protesters weren't all as optimistic.
I doubt very much that Christy Clark is going to pay attention. She hasn't engaged in the facts from the word go. Perhaps some of the people in the Liberal Party will pay attention and put some pressure on her. But quite frankly, we're hoping that the people of British Columbia will listen and vote appropriately when the election comes.
A local sociologist says small, undisruptive protests generally have little impact, but they can still affect change down the road.
Small protests, you can kind of think like, you know, keeping embers glowing in a fire. You know, maybe there's not much going on, but they keep the fire going, and then maybe at a later point in time, you know, somebody puts a bunch more fuel on it, and it becomes a lot bigger.
With the provincial election May 9th, citizens have a chance to make their voices heard. Lito Howse in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. Nobel Peace Prize winner and Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai met with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Ottawa to receive an honorary Canadian citizenship. In her address to Parliament, Yousafzai praised Canada for its role in helping refugees and advancing women's rights.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, one candidate running for BCIT's Student Association president is standing for women's rights.
And a local nonprofit aims to help a small community in South Africa.
Standby graphics, ready, camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action, or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station. Like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
The Canadian Armed Forces held a service to pay respects at Toronto's historic district for the centennial anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Our reporter Tamari Romarni brings you this story.
A crash met with excitement today, but exactly 100 years ago, a cannon like this brought a much different reaction. On April 1917, at the Battle of Vimy Ridge, Canadian troops fought at the terrible cost, with more than 10,000 killed and wounded. but the victory solidified the young nation's identity apart from the British Empire. And today, a military remembrance to commemorate the sacrifices of those men and women and animals like Sergeant Julius, including nurses. Exactly 3,000 of them, just like Sister Monk.
We would treat the patients in their cots or where they were. Sometimes we'd go out to them if they were just lying down outside. It's a great honor to be here.
Dignitaries also attended the event to pay respects. The Premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne, and the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, the Honourable Elizabeth Downsdell, who took part in the traditional military parade by inspecting the cadets' uniforms. Others who volunteered displayed their traditional uniforms, like Matthew Wrigglesworth.
So oftentimes you see photographs of the artillery actually not being in proper uniform dress, that they would be dressed down, and often seen in shirt sleeves, rolled up shirt sleeves, as their work was very physically laborious.
These reenactments are more than just a display. It is a way to show respect and give back the only way Canadians can.
Here in Toronto, we commemorate the Battle of Vimy Ridge that took place a century ago. You can still feel the pain, the suffering, and the heartache that the men and women had to endure in France. I'm Tamara Amani for BCIT Magazine.
BCIT student elections are starting next week, and as our reporter Robin Crawford found out, one candidate is standing for more than just student rights.
This is Shubi Singh. She may look like a regular BCIT student, but she is in the running for a very important position. Shubi wants to be the next Student Association president.
I came to realize that, more and more women are emerging as new leaders and how important that is.
And after 2 male presidents, Shubi says she'll bring a different perspective to the job.
Definitely make the most of it and give it my all. And, continue to establish that women make just as good as leaders as men do.
And to many, a change in pace is important.
I think it would empower other women. It would be a really great role model for other women, like aspiring for these kinds of positions.
Voting for all positions are just 2 weeks away, but lack of education on the Student Association has some unenthused about the election.
No, I'm not going to vote. I'm not.
Why?
Because I don't think it's fair if I don't know much about it and I just cast my vote for any person. So that's the reason why I'm not going to do it.
I knew nothing about it. I just saw the signs, posted up around, it's elections. I didn't know what they were about.
However, Shubi isn't letting low voter turnout in past years deter her campaign.
The only way to kind of prove people wrong is to get yourself involved, to make a change. You can keep telling them that no women can do just the same things that everyone else can, right?
Statistically, we're not paid as much. We're looked at as mothers, which we are mothers, but we are also many other things.
And in a time where women still struggle to succeed in politics, many on campus believe a female president may be just what BCIT needs.
Yeah, I'm going to vote. I think my vote means something here.
I think it's a really powerful statement for sure, and it's about time.
Voting for the new president runs from April 25th to May 1st. You can check out all the students in the running at mybcit.ca. Robin Crawford in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
We're now joined by our reporter Robin Crawford. Robin, what are Shubi's plans if she's elected?
Yeah, campaigning for the election doesn't actually start until next Tuesday, so I can't report on what she plans to do. But I can tell you that Shubi is ready to take down that male-dominated position and start her campaign trail.
So you mentioned that a lot of students don't even know what the president does. So could you tell us a little bit more about that position?
Yeah, the Student Association president gets a monthly honorarium that comes straight out of students' tuition, so it is important to know what they do. They vote and pass on bills that directly affect students, so you're going to want to go check out your MyBCIT to check out all the candidates that are running. Back to you.
A local not-for-profit is hoping that their work behind the scenes will lead to growth in another continent. Our reporter Jacob Hall has more on the project.
I'm Lauren Payton, and I'm 25 years old. And I'm a registered holistic nutritionist.
It may seem like the set of a movie, but for the co-founders of Community for a Sustainable World are conducting interviews with Vancouver-based entrepreneurs. The 30 interviews will be compiled and made into a documentary which will screen in June. The proceeds of that event will go towards a sustainability project in Botshabelo, South Africa. Botshabelo was established as a refuge community in 1990 under the then apartheid government.
And it started as a very small community, but has slowly begun to grow. They have like hundreds of people who live there now, mostly children, and those children have grown up into adults, and now their children have children, and it's crazy. When I initially started CSW back in 2014, I didn't really have an idea of a project that we were going to work on, but I know that we wanted to do something big. And why not just start with something big and learn as much as we can?
Kiana Heighton, one of the founders of CSW, got the inspiration for the project from some of the children in the Botshabelo community.
All of the kids there had cell phones and they were really into YouTube. And so 30 was just a number that I was like, okay, that's a lot, but if we get 30 different people, those are 30 different stories that people at Botshabelo, and not only at Botshabelo, but people around the world can connect to these stories when they're watching them on YouTube.
The work CSW does behind the scenes will hopefully lead to an impact in the small South African community. Sandy Cote, the project's videographer, believes that collaboration is the key to success on a project of this scale.
Every little step that I'm doing right now, I know is going to help them later on and make those connections and meet those people and things like that, and I feel that's like really important.
The screening for the project is June 10th, with the group going to Africa August 18th through September 2nd. Jacob Hall in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Pope Francis has opened a free laundromat for the poor in Rome. In the next few months, the Vatican plans to add showers, a barber shop, and medical services to the location. This is the second facility to open in the last few months for assisting the less fortunate.
BC's newest multimillionaire is an 81-year-old retired cement worker from Burnaby. Marcello Battiston won nearly $26 million in the March Lotto Max jackpot. Battiston says he plans to take his wife to Hawaii and build her a new kitchen. Up next after the break, a Vancouver restaurant launches a campaign to restore the city's neon glory.
And demands for Big Brother volunteers are growing in the Lower Mainland.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trettanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
The Vancouver International Film Festival presents a celebration of Canadian cinema with National Canada Film Day 150. On April 19th, movies will be available on air, online, and on foot at over 1,700 screenings in cinemas, libraries, and public squares.
The Vancouver Aquarium will be holding an Easter egg scavenger hunt April 14th to 17th. Visitors at the event will have the chance to win one of 3 up-and-close personal animal encounters with either curious penguins, majestic sea lions, or playful sea otters. All ages are welcome, and admission can be purchased online at vanaqua.org/visit.
April showers bring May flowers. That means the Abbotsford Tulip Festival is back in town again. Visitors are invited to marvel at 2.5 million tulips in 10 acres of rainbow-colored fields. Bloom is an outdoor living event, so be prepared for mixed weather conditions. Tickets can be purchased online at their website.
An Asian restaurant is raising money to restore some of Vancouver's glory and Chinatown's heritage. As Brady Trettanero found out, some of the people who are helping with the Kickstarter campaign are being rewarded with amazing food.
Vancouver was once aglow with nearly 20,000 neon signs. Times have changed and now they're almost all gone. Saiwu Chop Suey is a popular Asian restaurant in Chinatown. They're just one of many businesses who have either lost or seen their neon sign mysteriously disappear. Sally Pateman is the owner of the restaurant, and she's launched a Kickstarter campaign to replace their beloved neon sign and help make Vancouver more colorful.
We don't want to see all of that history just get torn down and this place not be what it once was. We just need to preserve this part of Vancouver. It's a really old neighborhood, and imagine in the day how exciting it was coming down here when there was as much signage on this street than there would be on the Vegas Strip.
Saiwu's general manager also believes neon signs make Vancouver more beautiful.
I think it would be it would really help to restore this street, to restore Pender Street, because back in its heyday, it was beautiful. There was the neon lights everywhere. The businesses were thriving, and I think that would be a bit of a catalyst to help bring that back.
Many locals are also missing the signs.
But yeah, streets in all over Asia are full of neon signs, and why not Chinatown?
So I couldn't see why not. I mean, even the public library is put on a neon sign.
But I would love for it to come back because I think it just makes it brighter.
Saiwu Restaurant is exchanging food for donations up until April 22nd. Brady Tretnero in Chinatown for BCIT Magazine.
We are now joined by our reporter Brady Tretnero. Brady, how exactly does the donation process work?
Yeah, well, the restaurant is actually exchanging food for donations. So if you believe in this Kickstarter campaign and donate, and believe in their goal of helping restore neon glory in Vancouver, the restaurant's going to match your donation with a meal of equal value. They'll also be refunding all donations if they don't meet that fundraising goal.
So what is the fundraising goal and how close are they to meeting it?
Yeah, well, they've set up a goal of nearly $19,000. That's how much money it's going to take to get a perfect replica of the neon sign that went missing around 1 year ago remade. The company TG8 Signs says that's how much money they need if they're going to produce this sign. So far, the restaurant has raised only $4,540 of their goal, and it comes to a close on April 22nd. They do have 25 backers, though, some of those being restaurant regulars, and they've made some very significant individual donations. Back to you guys in the studio.
The Vancouver Police Museum has opened a new exhibit looking into some of the most disturbing crimes in the city. Kyle Benning looks at the collection of the 7 most famous murder cases in Vancouver.
Public safety is paramount, and with an accused with this many murder convictions or findings, it could be that he would find himself designated a high-risk accused.
The Vancouver Police Museum is asking its visitors to take a closer look into some of the city's true crime. The exhibit was officially unveiled last weekend, and it takes a look into some of the more gruesome and tragic cases investigated by the Vancouver Police Department. The museum's director says the collection was chosen because the Vancouver's Coroner Service examined the corpses and bones in the same building.
The general theme is just the connection to our building, to the people that worked here, and to sort of the science of policing between the late 40s and the changes in the science up until 96.
Death is fairly evident in this case, as indicated by the red arrow pointing at a gunshot entrance wound on his right temple.
The cases range from strange to bizarre and solved as well as unsolved, and even 2 with unidentified victims. Each crime has physical evidence as well as a case file, so those who are curious can take a closer look into the intimate details of police and coroners' investigations.
They're pretty horrendous crimes, especially the one behind me where Thomas murdered his whole family with an axe while they were in their sleep.
The exhibit is going to be a permanent fixture, which means it could be around for more than 2 decades. Kyle Benning in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
The Big Brother organization is starting to close waitlists in some cities because there are far more boy applicants than there are Big Brothers. As Falaki Adasuba has learned, one pair is hoping to inspire volunteers to step up to the role.
One of my best friends.
It's Bowl for Big Brother night. An 11-year-old Tyrus is one of the lucky ones here with a big brother.
I don't really have a father figure in my life, and Sean's the closest thing I have to that.
Yeah.
It's like a huge impact.
Big Brother is facing an overwhelming demand for big brothers, but there aren't enough men stepping up to the plate.
In some of the municipalities and other cities surrounding Vancouver, the wait time can be 2 years, sometimes even longer.
Big Brother is encouraging men to step up through the Purple Net Project.
Without a net, it's not very easy. It just goes everywhere, and then you gotta run after it.
Big Brother's hanging up to 100 purple basketball nets across the Lower Mainland.
Having my little buddy just throw up on my shoulders to put the net up is great.
Each of these nets symbolizes the number of little brothers waiting for a friend. A former little brother thought up the Purple Net Project as his way of giving back.
There's no pressure for Tyrus to ever be a big brother, but I hope that one day, if he's able to and he has the means to do it, that he would consider volunteering in some form. But I would never put that on him.
I would. I'd definitely.
Yeah?
Big Brother currently has 800 volunteers, but they need 200 to help with the wait list. While the wait list for Big Brother is overflowing in general, it is more of a crisis in places like Surrey and the city of Richmond, where they need volunteer Big Brothers who speak Cantonese and Mandarin to make communication easier. Sean is asking people to step up to the role, and Tyrus says once he's old enough, he will do just that. Falaka Adisuba in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Michael Bublé's wife has confirmed that their son is recovering from a successful cancer treatment. Noah was diagnosed with liver cancer in November. If you have any questions regarding the show, you can contact us at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca. Thanks for watching BCIT Magazine. I'm Johnnie Smart.
And I'm Lito Howse. We leave you now with some stunning footage of Gishon Creek. Goodbye.